Hello folks, and welcome back to another episode of Cranky Conrods. And today we're going to do this clutch box on this Vauxhall Vivaro 1.9. They're all pretty much, I think, the same, from the M9Rs, the 2 litres, and the F9Q and the G9Us. I think they're all the same, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, this clutch box on this van, we're going to show you what it entails to kind of take it apart and whatever. So stick around, it's going to get fun, because this clutch box, I mean, is absolutely bent to smithereens. The clutch pedal was sticking down, coming up halfway. It was a nightmare. We thought there was so much wrong with the clutch and stuff like that, and it was nothing wrong with the clutch in the end. But obviously we changed the gearbox on it in the beginning. I wasn't going to do a gearbox without doing the clutch, so we put a new clutch and slave in it, and then we still couldn't get a clutch. The clutch pedal was all skewy wampus. We then had a look into the master cylinder, thinking that it wasn't bleeding very good, and we then noticed that there was a lot of really nasty grooves and pitting on the master, which is why we changed the master cylinder. Now, we then gave them the van back, and then of course we got a phone call 6 to 8 days later saying the clutch pedal is not returning to its proper position. And I went over, removed the clutch return spring, and hey presto, the clutch pedal came back and felt really good. So we said, okay, we'll leave it alone. And then almost 2 days after we'd done that, the clutch pedal went to the floor and it wouldn't return. So that's when I went over and we had the vehicle recovered back to us. And then that's when we noticed that the little silver box that goes underneath the heater matrix behind it is called a clutch pressure relief valve. Basically what that does is if you stomp on the clutch pedal really hard, it diverts the pressure elsewhere within the system. And we thought, okay, because obviously we found a leak around through the face of that, and a leak that the pipe goes into it. So we done away with that. Still no clutch pedal, and it still wouldn't return back to its natural position. And that's when we came to the conclusion that this clutch box could very well potentially be trash. And it was extremely trash, just as the wind comes along. But anyway, grab yourself a cold brew, because this one's going to be a little bit long-winded, as I try to explain stuff as we're going along. It's kind of a bit backwards because we'd already started halfway going into diagnosing it, so you're kind of catching us halfway in the process of finding out what the hell had actually happened to this poor little Vivaro that had Bigfoot on the clutch pedal. But yeah, sit down guys and enjoy this one. It's going to be interesting. Right, to get the dash out of your Vivaro, primstar and traffic, 1, 2 screws there, same 2 screws the other side. Then you have 3 screws in here. You have 1 there, 1 there, 1 just there. Down here you have 1 there, 1 there, and that will leave the middle piece. You have 2 screws that hold the side of this panel, either side, and that comes out. That then leaves that screw there, and that screw there, I think it is, can't remember. This whole panel then drops down, and you just unpop everything that's on it, and then you drop your glove box open, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 there, and that big old cover that sits there, that then lifts up and comes out. On this one it reveals a tracker, vehicle tracker for the van, so we'll have to make sure that we've got that connected all back up. And then you've also then got your radio, obviously, and that screw, one screw goes into that there. So that's for the black frame that goes over the top. And you also have two screws, little Torx Allen keys, each side of the radio. You unscrew them, and then the radio comes out. So it's quite that easy, really. And then down the bottom of here, once you've removed all of this, you can't really mess this up, but you have your heater cables that are colour coded. Look, so orange goes to orange, black goes to black, and it's really quite that simple. So, and once you've got all the bolts out for your Vivaro dash, you go ahead and you just give it a good old prise like that, and you just wriggle it along sort of like that. And yeah, so that's how you get the dash out. Right folks, so you're going to have to remove these stalks. Now this is the trickiest side one, and this is on the one nearest the driver's door. You've got this little tag here. You have to push that little tag in, like so, and then underneath you have another little tag. It wants to focus on us. So just here you have another little tag. And then what you do, another thing, and just hook it in and push it out. So to get this off, you've got to then take the key up. This just pops off like so. That just drops down, and then that just pops out. And it's the exact same the other side. So simple again. Just here, look. Pop that in, push that across, and underneath, and they come out. Really simple, easy, and effective. So I'm going to move on to something else and show you guys how to do that. Right, to get the crash member out far enough for you to be able to get to the clutch box main arm up at the back here, this is all moving, look. So with this being able to move that little bit of 2 inches, this then will allow this clutch box arm, rod, whatever you want to call it, to be free and come out more. And then once you take the C-clip off and you undo 1, 2, that's him, there, 2, 3, 4, and 5, that allows you, oh, and then the 213s for the steering column, that allows that to come off. And then what I'll do is a bit later on, I'll show you guys when I've got all this off, so it's easier for me to demonstrate to you guys what exactly it is you have to do with the pedals, because you have to remove the clutch pedal, the spring, the master, to get this out, to allow this metal plate here to come out through here. So I'll show you guys when we've got it all out of the van, lay it all on the desk, and I'll show you guys how to do it. But you must undo 2 13s here, 1 there, 2 there. They must come out completely and utterly fully. 2 13s there. Then you've got the 13mm there. See that, how it all allows it, all the heater box and everything to move with this. You've got 1 there, and you have 1 down behind the dashboard there. And on the other side, you just crack them off lightly and don't take them out. The same as these 2 13s down here. You crack them off, but do not take them out, because that takes the entire weight of this assembly. And if you take them 2 out down here, you've then got to try and lift and hold this whole entire assembly, heater matrix, column, and everything, to get them 2 bolts back in. That will take 2 of you to do that job, because it's not going to be easy, and it won't be light, and it all, as you can see, it all moves and runs around nonetheless. But that's just how I do it. You just pull it out like that, got all that bit of movement, and then you can get in there to do the arm. Right folks, so you join me underneath the dashboard now, where we have undone all the bolts, as you can see. We've undone the C-clip that's behind the brake pedal. We've taken the 10mm off for that. And then what I've done is I've finagled the whole box from behind, because you have to take all the brake pedal off and everything. So basically it all comes out at this angle, and as you can see it's all loose. Just hoping we can get it back together this way. But as you can see, the clutch, the brake and everything, is arms all there. So we're just going to slide the new plate behind, which is just here. So that's what it's going to kind of look like when you go to reassemble. Let's get that light out of the way for you. So it kind of looks like that. And as you can see, you just got your brake pedal. That's where that arm goes onto. This arm here. So that arm there goes onto there. That's the spring for the turn spring. That's where the master sits in, and that rod comes up through here, goes up inside here, and then lift the brake pedal up, and then underneath through here you'll see where the C-clip goes. So yeah, and I'll get on and I'll show you once we've got this bracket back in the van, because it takes a bit of finagling to get it all back in. So folks, if you've made it this far, then excellent. Now we're going to try and use our imagination here, and I'm going to try and explain to you how this all works, because obviously out like this I've got more room to show you guys, and I can explain stuff just a little bit better than what I could be able to do all squished up in a van. So here is your brake pedal, here is your clutch pedal, and normally this is where your throttle pedal would go. And this sensor here plugs down the side of it into a harness that comes out of here and goes back up through the body. And then just above it, this side as well, you'd also have the switch, the plug for the throttle cable as well, the fly-by-wire, all that good stuff. Now, so technically you don't need to change any of this or take any of this out. But I did, because it's just simple just to go. I'm going to do it to me now, because this clutch box is so bent, and I'll show you guys in just a second what I mean. But basically this sensor, it just twists anti-clockwise, quarter of a turn, and it comes out. Then you take out these little connections, one there, there's another one here. So meanwhile you're thinking that this is in the van underneath the dash. I'm trying to show you guys this. Right, you have a 17mm there, a 16mm there. And what you do, once you've cracked them off, all the way off, take the nut off, and then you take your master cylinder off, like so, and then you twist your master cylinder to drop it out. We're pretending, guys, that this is in the van, so you take this out. Obviously, once you've disconnected the pipe and the soft line that goes into it, and then we are going to then, if I can do it for you guys, is, I mean, as you can see, guys, look, I mean, I'm not, hang on a second, right, anyway, you can see that it's all bent. Then you've got a C-clip, which is just there. And now there's two types of these. You got one with a C-clip that goes there, which you just need a little pick, and you just hook it out and make sure you don't lose it, because they do just ping off. Or you got another one which has like a brass looking plate that just clips in on the end. So we've got the C-clip on this one, which is, you know, no big dramas. So there's your return spring. That comes off like so, and then you're able to pull that out like so. And then you remove your clutch pedal like so, and that relieves you with it looking like this. Now, once you think that's like that in the van, you then undo this 10mm, which is on the brake pedal, take that off like so, you pop that off like so, and now once you've got the two bolts that are holding the metal frame undone. The two that are underneath just cracked off down here in the centre console, and the two that are up on the windscreen here completely and utterly out. That'll allow the heater box to move forward like so, and then that what allows you to do is be able to pick this up and slide this off. But before we can do that, we're going to go and lift this up like so. On this one, if you look here, there's this little groove. That's where the C-clip is. And there's this big C-clip, and it hooks in all the way around. And you just get another pick in again and just pick it out. Do watch this one. That's how I've managed to lose this one. Is when I got it out, it went flying. So it will just ping off, so just be warned for that. So, once you've got that out and all this is disassembled like this, this then allows the studs to come out from behind here. So then that'll allow this clutch box to lift up like so, off the van. Just enough to get it over the studs. And then you can then have to finagle this out like so. So that will come out like so. Now, this is why you need to do what I've done, because you will not get this to come out of here. See? It will not come out. So it has to come up to about here, and then you finagle it out like so, and then you keep on pulling it out. So that's why I said I'd take it out and I'll show you guys on the bench. Well, quite frankly, it's a beautiful day, so I thought I'd make the most of being outside. So now you've got this out like this, and this will then be able to come out the side of the van, and then it'll look like that. So let me show you where this one had actually bent. So if I come and bring you into here, it had bent right across here, and then it had bent here. If you look, this whole piece is leant right over. The whole entire clutch assembly, look, even the brake switch, everything is bent over. Everything is bent. There isn't a straight thing on it. I started trying to straighten this up. I thought I could straighten this and do this and do that, and no, absolutely not. It was an absolute pain. So that's why we ended up going ahead and ordering another one. Now, just to rebuild it again, you're going to put this down. Now, what can actually happen is if I come to this side has popped out. So this may take two of you to do. What you got to do is, this isn't a bad thing. This goes back in last, okay? So this has to be out. So what we're going to do is, while this is all in the van, you're going to pick this up, you're going to slide that across like so, and with that bit of movement you're able to jump over like so. And then what you do is you put that back in there, you put your C-clip on, and then that allows all this to move. That's what all that movement was. That is because this is out. So once you've got the C-clip back in here, you then get a friend or someone to help you. Just line this up and drop this back in. Okay, like so. And then obviously, whilst you're lining that up over there, you're also lining this up with the studs. And then it just pushes together, drops down, and then you can put your bolts, nuts back on, and then tighten your 13 mils back up. So, and that's a 10 mil, by the way. So then once you've got it all back together, like so, it's just a case of spit and rinse, spit and repeat. So we're going to put that back in there, drop that back over like that, bring the brake pedal up, and it's on a rose joint, so not too bad. It's a little bit of a finagle, but you have to get these on dead straight. And I'm not going to be able to do it one-handed. Great. But yeah, that goes back on there. Make sure that that's sitting all the way back up to here. and obviously you put your clutch pedal back in like so, your master the same, basically you're just going back the same way as it was. So guys, if I can just get you guys to hit the like and subscribe, that would be very much appreciative, because that just tells YouTube that, you know, we're a good channel, and that relates back to me that you actually like this sort of stuff, and to carry on making this kind of content. So if I can also get you guys to boost the subscribe, that would also be fantastic as well, because that just helps the channel in moving forward. So yeah, much love from me, folks. Me out.